Hey yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy EmeryReigns here, bringing you my first advanced tips video for Dead or Alive 6. Now, a lot of you guys have requested that I do more Dead or Alive 6 tutorial and tip videos. Now, in this video, we're pretty much going to be talking about sidestepping and free-stepping. For those of you guys that are curious on how to Korean backdash in Dead or Alive, I've already made a video showing you guys how I do so and the other methods that you can use to Korean backdash. Before we get into this, there is one thing I want to let you guys know, that not every character in Dead or Alive has the same free step speed. If you guys look at more bigger and sluggish characters like Bayman and Raido, they don't have the same free stepping speed as other characters. So first and foremost, how do you perform a sidestep? You perform a sidestep in Dead or Alive 6 by hitting up, down, or more appropriately, as you guys may know these inputs, as 8 and 2 and the S button at the same time. So it's going to look like this. So the thing you have to know about the sidestep is that there's two different kinds of generic sidesteps. There's a sidestep, and then there's also a sidestep attack. So one thing that I do want to touch on just a little bit is that I feel like a lot of people in DOA don't use the empty sidestep enough, and they just opt out just to blow their meter all the time. I definitely think that more people need to explore different options and learn different strings and things like that, so that way they can learn when they should use an empty sidestep and when they should commit to the sidestep attack. The only thing about doing an empty sidestep and trying to continue your offense or just playing defense, you have to know the recovery of the attack that the person is doing to you. This is obviously going to be something that you guys are not going to learn until you play the game more. I'm going to show you guys an example of what I mean when I'm talking about sidestepping without using the actual attack. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Kasumi do two moves that are both linear that I can actually do an empty sidestep into a throw punish where she can't do anything about it. So I've been playing DOA for a long time. I know all of Kasumi's options out of this forward punch. I know that she has a couple of tracking options, and I know that she has a couple of linear options. So the only time you're ever really going to use an empty sidestep without the attack is when you know someone is going to do a move that does not retract and is going to hit your sidestep. So as you can see right there, I just did an empty sidestep into a block, into a throw punish, and I stopped her from continuing to mash the string out. As you can see right here, she can't do anything about that. And the only reason why I would ever do that is because a certain player may opt out to do the same thing over and over again. And at that point, why waste a meter when I can get a different kind of punish off? You just have to be really careful with trying to go for hard reads on empty sidesteps, because Kasumi has one of the best retracking strings in the game. So if I try to empty step right here, I'm going to get hit. So you really have to be careful when you're going to do an empty sidestep into a throw punch. So if you guys take a look at the top of the screen up there, you see there's 4 bars of meter and they're glowing purple. When it's glowing purple, that means that I have a full bar and that I can do all of my special attacks, including a sidestep, break hold, and break blow. Now, when Dead or Alive 6 first came out, it was really a sidestep spam fest. And what I mean by that is because the sidestep used to not require any bars of meter, you can just spam it like this. Now see, I really didn't have an issue with people spamming sidesteps because that just opened them up for more punishment. But as a new player, this can definitely be frustrating if you don't know how to stop it. But now sidesteps require a quarter bar of your meter. So as you can see here, I have my meter on unlimited, but when it started glowing like that after I do the attack, you can see it blinks. That means that it's going to consume some kind of meter. So you really don't see people spamming sidesteps too often, because if they use all their bar, they're not going to have any resources to get out of a break blow cancel. They're not going to be able to sidestep, and they're not going to be able to break hold. The thing that's the most frustrating for me about the sidestep attack system in this game is that a lot of people do these sidestep attacks and they're not even thinking about what you're going to do. They're just doing it because they know how good it is. The reason why the sidestep attack in this game is so good compared to Dead or Alive 5 is because in Dead or Alive 5, if you didn't know what someone was going to do and you didn't know the retracking properties on strings, you would get hit out of a sidestep attack like 50-60% of the time. In this game, if you start your sidestep attack and the person is doing a string that has no tracking properties at all, or it doesn't have some kind of a throw and offensive hold in the middle of it, you're going to be able to successfully sidestep 95% of the time. If you look at a high-level match, even a top-level match, sidestep attacks happen very often and they connect very often. There's a couple of different ways you can punish someone for doing a sidestep attack or spamming sidesteps in general. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a couple of different ways you can punish somebody who spams sidesteps constantly. I'm going to go ahead and have Kasumi just do nothing but sidestep. Now, every single generic sidestep attack in the game is going to be at least forward throw punishable. Not everybody's sidestep attack has the same range. Some character sidestep attacks have different properties on block, but they're all unsafe. So the first and simplest way you can punish a sidestep attack is just by doing a forward grab after it connects on block. As you can see, I have Kasumi set to spam these sidestep attacks, and it looks like this shit is unstoppable. I'm going to show you guys how you can shut that down the simplest way I can. All I did was block the sidestep attack and do a forward grab. Forward grabs in Dead or Alive are completely unbreakable. The only throws you can break are chain throws, and you can break neutral throws because they're not guaranteed punishment. Another way you can blow up a sidestep attack before it even starts is just by doing a string that has tracking properties or just a simple move that has tracking properties. Now I'm going to show you guys a couple of Hayate's moves that can stop sidestep attacks. Now, as you can see, I just had the computer get hit by 3 of the same tracking moves in a row, because if you know a character or a player is going to just spam sidesteps, all you have to just simply do is do a tracking move. Now, another way you can beat sidesteps is by grabbing the sidestep as it's happening or before it starts. The thing about grabbing somebody's sidestep is that you see this a lot by accident, because a lot of the times when somebody forward grabs you, they're not really meaning to throw that sidestep as it's happening. But the reason why it happens so often is because even though the sidestep has a lot of invincibility frames as far as linear moves, the sidestep is still active for very long until the sidestep attack actually comes out. And what's crazy is that you can even grab the sidestep attack as it's coming on the screen. Now, some characters in the game have what's called an offensive hold. Characters like Fang and Bash, they have what's called an offensive hold. Generally, it's going to be like a forward grab or something like that. Characters like Bayman, they have offensive holds with just forward grab. You can stop sidestep attacks by doing an offensive hold as well. Another way you can beat sidestep attacks is just by simply using your own sidestep attack to time it with theirs. Last but not least, my favorite way to stop a sidestep spammer is by simply doing a fatal stun to them and catching their back and fucking them up. Some characters have access to better fatal stuns than others. Just be mindful that if your fatal stun does not actually have tracking properties, it's not going to hit. Now, the good thing about using a fatal stun to stop a character's generic sidestep is that every character has one by just simply hitting the S button and using their fatal rush. Every character in the game has a fatal rush attack, every character's fatal rush tracks, and every character's fatal rush that connects with a generic sidestep is going to give you that back turn limbo stun into a guaranteed launcher. Now, realistically, there's like 3 different kind of evasive movements that certain characters have in DOA. You got your generic sidestep, which I just showed you guys. You have your special sidestep, like Hayate's 8 or 2P plus K. Now, if you're really quick with your hand, you can actually punish sidestep attacks by doing a strike. Characters like Neo Tengu, she has a 10 frame P plus K, which is going to give her that stun and go into her crazy offense that she has in Dead or Alive 6. As Hayate, I'm not going to really be able to do an attack that's going to hit on normal, that's going to give me a good enough stun that's better than going for just my guaranteed forward grab for punishment. So just be mindful that you don't need to use just grabs to punish sidestep attacks, you can use strikes as well. Only weird thing about punishing some sidestep attacks is that some of them are actually safe on tip range. I really think this is more so just a bug, but if you guys know anything about fighting games, you know that moves have different properties on block depending on which range it is. For example, for some reason, Rig can do his sidestep attack at like tip range and you can't punish it. I don't know why, it's just the way it is in this game. Now, earlier on, I told you guys briefly about some characters having special sidesteps. For example, Hayate does have a special sidestep that he can use that requires no meter at all. It's not necessarily as good as a generic sidestep because it has not really any invincible frames to it, but it is really good because it's evasive and it doesn't require meter. However, you can stop this special sidestep the same way you stop any other sidestep, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that right now. Now, just like a generic sidestep, Hayate's special sidestep is unsafe on block as well. Then you have other characters like Christy that also have special sidestep attacks, and her shit is actually in strings, so it's even more annoying to deal with. However, you can still stop it. With Christy's sidestep, is really more so about knowing the matchup and knowing when you can and can't push buttons to stop her sidestep attacks. If you know Christy or Hayate is going to do their special sidestep attacks, just know that you can always grab it as it's coming out. The only thing with Christy's special sidestep is that you have to do a low grab because technically she's going to be in a crouching position. Just be careful punishing characters like Christy's special sidestep because unlike Hayate's special sidestep, she's not standing up when she does it. I can't just do a generic S and catch her back and get that limbo stun into the combo because she's technically going under the attack with a crush. So even though I can't do my generic S attack to stop her from doing that, I still have other tracking moves that I can do as well as my low grab. Luckily, there's not that many characters in the game that have those special sidestep attacks that they can do. So you're only really going to be dealing with the generic sidestep attacks from most characters in the cast. You really should go into training mode with characters like Christie, Bayman, Kasumi, and Hayate and figure out different techniques to stop them from doing their special sidestep attack. Now, the only other type of movement that I want to show you guys briefly is free stepping. Now, free stepping in DOA is kind of similar to Tekken's sidewalk. However, it doesn't have the same kind of properties. You can completely sidewalk attacks in Tekken that don't have tracking properties. However, in DOA, if you're trying to completely sidewalk or free step a string or an attack, most of the time you're going to get hit, and that's why there's a sidestep mechanic built into the game. However, there are certain characters that have attacks that you can actually free step or free walk and punish. Hayabusa being one of those characters that has his stance where he can come out of the sky and teleport and do his ninja guide and shit, you can actually do a free step or a free walk to stop him from doing that, and at the very least avoid him doing some of those attacks to you. Walking is obviously good for stuff like positioning. You really don't want to have your back to any danger zones in this game unless you're confident playing with a character like Lisa, who has a throw that actually benefits for having her back to the wall. She can actually switch sides and get a crazy ass combo when you're in this game. So free stepping is really good for obviously, again, showing you guys that you can avoid some of the attacks in the game, but also positioning. And that's going to do it for my first advanced tip video, guys. I hope that it helps you out. Please be sure to leave your comments. Also, don't forget to leave a subscription on the channel as well if you enjoyed this kind of content. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Y'all stay safe out there. Take it easy.